Good morning, Tak. Suwan.
Yes, good morning, sir.
How are you?
It's okay. How about you?
Good.
Yeah.
Fine. You on the screen. Did you see Dr. Sukree
Yes.
Hajisamae? He will
Yeah.
be your lecturer today. This morning.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Now, how are you doing?
Good morning.
He's a very well-known, learned fisheries.
About the fishery.
Scientist.
Today.
Right. I'm from fisheries. Actually, I have a student from Cambodia that graduated. Got his degree here in fisheries and going back to work with the government in Cambodia.
Okay. You had a lot of experience with the fishery. Yes.
Some experience.
Yeah.
You are in Phnom Penh.
Yeah.
Nice place. I went there 3 times.
3 times in Phnom Penh.
In Phnom Penh, yes.
For the MRC meeting.
No, not mostly. I went for the to interview students.
Okay.
To come to my university here.
Okay. Phnom Penh University.
Not Phnom Penh University.
Agriculture.
Yes, Phnom Penh Agriculture University.
Okay.
Some of them around there.
Okay.
Very nice place.
Interview students for after Princess Sirinthorn.
Right. Also, yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Princess Sirinthorn. The sister of the present king.
Okay.
She started giving scholarships to a lot of Cambodian.
Yeah.
Actually,
because I heard that many university in Thailand that provide the scholarship to Cambodian people. That is one.
Yes. About 40 to 50 Cambodian students came here every year in the past, but not very recently. So they spread over 5 campuses.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
For my faculty, some year I got 10 students.
Okay.
In one year.
But
right. And they are great. They are doing very good. And most of them now they got a very good job in Cambodia or even in Bangkok. Some of them still in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Right. It's good.
And somebody that has the education from abroad, especially from Thailand, they get a good job in Cambodia.
Oh, right. That's
And in the private sector or in the NGO also.
Yes. Oh, that's
and sometimes they work like the expert.
Oh, that's great.
The consultant expert with the many firm that is one study about the fishery and fish migration along the Mekong or in the Lesab lake. Yeah, this one.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they have advantage because they speak Thai. Can you imagine when they come to Thai university, they have to learn Thai and study with Thai students using Thai language.
Yeah, because I think that it's a Thai and Cambodia and Khmer. It's like similar language that this one. Yeah.
Yeah, the root is about the same, right? I heard that even your name, right? Your name is Gold, right, or something.
Gold. Suwan.
Gold.
Yeah.
Bantom sleep, right? Bantom is sleep. I learned from my student. And right.
I mean in
Good morning.
AIT. Yes.
Good morning, Turaningam.
Good morning.
Yeah. You see Dr. Sukree on your screen? He'll taking care of your lecture this morning.
Yes.
Dr. Sukree from Pattani campus, from Science Technology.
Hi, Turalingam. How are you doing? What time is Sri Lanka now?
7:30.
Oh, 7:30. You have your breakfast or you are having breakfast?
Nathan is and Nathan is here already. Nathan
Yes,
from
sir.
Philippines.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi. I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Sukree, who will be your lecturer this morning.
Hi, Dr. Sukree. Good morning.
Hi, Nathan. Which part of Philippines are you from? How are you doing?
I'm from Manila, from the city.
Oh, you're from the city. Yeah, nice place. I walked there twice, I think, in Manila. Very good place. I stay just behind the United States Embassy, along Manila Bay, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Manila Bay.
Yeah, it's good actually to walk along the Manila Bay at night. It's very lively.
Normally there will be a few people coming in, during next few minutes. So without further ado, I will hand over the stage to Dr. Sukree. I hope you enjoy your lecture in sustainable fishery this morning. So I'll be on the other room, sitting in my computer. Okay, so enjoy.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Hajisamae, for bridging us together in this meeting, in this classroom.
I'll be in another room. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are still waiting for some of us here, right?
Yeah, we can wait.
Right. Nathan, what time is it? It's already almost noon, right, in Philippines?
No, sir. It's just 10:09. We're just 1 hour ahead of.
Oh, you guys 1 hour
Thailand.
ahead. Oh, you
Yeah.
just 1 hour ahead. So you are from the department something in the
Oh,
Philippines?
our agency is under Department of Environment and Natural Resources, DNR.
Oh, I see. Okay. So how's the pandemic in Manila?
Oh, we're still having high cases daily, like 20,000 new cases for the past week.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite high.
Yeah. How about there in Thailand?
Actually, we just stopped. What to say? The blocking people, and then it seems it increased again these few days. It's increased about 15,000, going to be 20,000 I think soon.
Oh, so we stopped doing lockdowns?
We stopped doing lockdown for a week, and then it come back. It come back again. So it's so serious now. I think everywhere.
That's true.
Right. I saw some of you from UP, right? John Paul, right? From UP. It's not here.
Yeah, but he hasn't been attending for the past couple of days. I don't know
I
if
see.
he's been affected by the past typhoon.
Oh, I see. Oh, the typhoon, right? Affect there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we still, I think that we need to have a 5 minute, maybe waiting for others in case there are some problem of getting into the Zoom. Yeah, right. Oh, there's Aruna, right? Aruna, from Sri Lankan here. Director Soan, maybe the most senior here, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think so. Yes.
From the photo, because it seems that they are very young.
Yeah. I work on water resources management and development more than nearly 25 years.
Oh, that's very long.
Yeah,
that's very long.
Yeah, 25 years old. Yeah, I also.
You work on water.
I know many experts and many Thai expert, water resources expert like Dr. Apichat, already Thai, maybe Michael. Already Thai. Still only me working at this moment.
So you prove something to us that there is never too old to learn.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you prove that.
Yeah, when I go to the international conference or international workshop, I ask some my colleague or my friend from different country. They are already retired, but I meet only through via Facebook. I see only him on the Facebook, but he already retired. Yeah, Dr. Apikat is a very good expert on water resources. He
Water
also,
resources.
he also chief of the water partnership, Thai water partnership.
Oh, I see. In
Yeah,
Bangkok.
in Bangkok.
In Bangkok, right? In Bangkok,
right. Thai water partnership. He is the chair of the Thai water partnership.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He I think maybe now he 75 years old, maybe around.
Oh, 75.
yeah. When I working with him, he around 58 or 55 years old.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
some times ago. That's some times ago.
Okay, nearly 30 years ago. Nearly 30 years ago. That is
Right.
one. I learned from him a lot because he has a lot of experience on public participation in Thailand on water management of this one. Very important. He also provide me a good concept and good idea because he has a lot of experience. Yeah. Because he working on water resources management and conservation, and especially public participation and this one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So your office, you have to look after all the lake and basin, right?
My department is responsible for river basin management.
River basin.
My department also responsible for law enforcement related to the water resources management.
Yes.
And also my department provide the license for water use. That is one.
Oh, I see.
A permission letter for the water use. That is one.
Oh, that's
for
great.
agriculture, for agriculture, for domestic use, and many sectors. That is one. And
So
I also prepare the sub-degree on water resources management and river basin management and sub-degree of this one.
Oh,
I prepare many that is one.
That's great because water resources is really important.
You are right.
In Cambodia.
You know now we are to consideration of the water resources management response to the climate change. Is it the global issue that is one?
Oh, I see. Right. You have
and we are working on water resources management, especially related to the fishery in our country. After the rice is the fish product.
All right.
The main product is the rice, and after rice is maybe a second or third is a fish product. Maybe in the Lesab Lake is a lot of fish.
Right. And they are facing very challenging now. Lots of problem, right?
And now the fish product is now decreased because a lot of people that catch the fish by electric or by illegal.
Oh, that's great. We want to discuss about this today too. Because I want to share. I want to learn from you as well. Because I've never been to Tonle Sap. I love to go to Tonle Sap. I told my student one day I have to go to Tonle Sap.
And Tonle Sap they provide the fish and only human, only for bird also, or for bird. The food for bird. The Tonle Sap Lake, we have a lot of birds in Tonle Sap.
Right.
And they eat the fish, a lot of fish they eat every day. This one.
Right, but a lot of bird over there.
A lot of birds.
Okay, we have another participant, another friend, Ulbert, right?
Maybe
Ulbert.
enough.
Right. Ulbert, right? Can you hear me, Ulbert? Hello, Ulbert. Good morning. Good morning, Ulbert. Okay, maybe some line problem. So I think that we are ready, right? To start. I can share some of my experience with you. So start sharing my slide. Okay, you can see my slide now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. My topic actually is sustainable fisheries, which is now very important topic, especially by FAO. and everywhere I think in the world when talking about life below water for the SDG 14, sustainable fisheries are the priority apart from water. So I'm from Faculty of Science and Technology at the same university at Prince of Songkhla University, but my campus is about 100 kilometers away from Dr. Chachai campus. My campus is closer to Malaysian border, so we are something in the area where people can speak Malay language. So a little bit about myself. I talked to Director Suwan that I've been working in fish as a lecturer for 25 years. 25 years as a lecturer in the university. And somebody want to join.
Yeah.
Somebody want to join from somewhere.
Maybe I think maybe
คุณแอนปิดเสียงเขาได้ใช่ไหมครับ Wait, I try to find that.
Okay, it's about
Okay, now it's okay. So I was born as a fisher boy in a fishing village, and then I trained as my first degree in aquaculture, coastal aquaculture, where I have to breed the fish, shrimp, and culture in the pond. And for my master degree, I went to Malaysia, the neighboring country, to start my study on fishery technology. And for my PhD, I turned to more fishery resources from Singapore, from National University of Singapore. And now I work as a scientist and teaching at the university. So one of my hobby is a bit different, is community capacity building. That is my hobby. So I'm quite abnormal lecturer who are working with the community, but besides a scientist. So I was administration, I was a dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology for 8 years. Now my turn is over, my second term. And I used to chair a network or a body of network called ASEAN Fisheries Education Network, where Cambodia is here also, Director Suwana. Cambodia University Priak Lip or something like that. I can't remember the university there, one of our members. And then now I'm running a center called Agro-Technology and Innovation Center of my province. And I'm not sure whether any of you are football player, but I am. I was a football player until now. I can't play anymore because my knee got injury. And I have normally when I teach my students, I would say that I'm a Liverpool supporter. So those who are Manchester United, sometimes they are not really happy to see the Liverpool logo, but I'm happy to see the Manchester United logo. And then part of my work, I'm running, it's not my work, but my hobby also. I'm running a football team in my province, a professional football team in my province as well. So this is something about me, and the hobby is community development. So I divide my work into two parts. First is for my career as a lecturer, a professor in the university. I published some papers. Not most of my papers are about fish, shrimp, and crabs. And I published a couple of books. And also working for my soul. Community development is my soul. Like what I'm going to talk today is a combination between part of my career and part of my hobby. So what I'm talking about today is the sustainable fisheries. So for coming to sustainable fisheries, and this actually the theme of the theme of this lecture, this course, is the climate change. One of the keyword of this course is climate change. So the debate of climate change is still very hot actually for fisheries. For fisheries itself, the question to ask before we go to sustainable fisheries, Does climate change really affect fisheries? Does climate change the major issue that affect fisheries? So this is something that question come into my mind for all the scientists on fisheries. And then many of them they try to answer directly and indirectly about the climate change effect fisheries. So today, before we start our class, I think that we better share our idea. What do you think should exactly? You are working with a river basin, you are working with water. You see some change. And do you think that the climate change really affects fisheries? And can you give some of the example from your area if possible? I love to listen from you all about this. So maybe I can start with Director Swan. Do you think that climate change affects fisheries? Director Swan, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about this message?
I think that is very we can talking about the climate change effect to the fish when we the climate change when is the can change is some is the hot and some is the cold.
Right.
And yes, and when the water is hot, we then less of the oxygen.
Right.
Yeah, and the fish cannot fly to the shallow. They need to depth, that is one, and so that the fish will be impact to the fish, and also will be impact to the forest, flood forest also. The flood forest is very important for fish, that is one.
Right.
And yeah, when I can talk in the dry season and wet season. In the dry season is when the water decrease, water level decrease or quantity of water decrease, there will be that loss of the less of the oxygen, that is one. Because a hot of the surface water is so hot, and we lost of oxygen, and so that the fish to go to the fly to the depth, and it is not enough for oxygen for them to live, that is one. And the fish cannot we can say it's comfortable not the fish, and so that fish some fish die and some fish can this one. I observed that in our country, in the river, in the stream, like this, that is one. And when the wet season, the flood is coming, early flood, and so fish is not still for migration and to change. They can change the fish migration. Sometimes, especially before the climate change or before the flood comes, fish is normally, and when the hydrology change, fish also change. Yeah, they can. They very difficult to move, and then this one is my opinion. But I'm not especially on my fishery, but my observation in my practice in the field, that this one.
Right. So there's a very good example of the impact of climate change to fisheries. But they are still need to be proven, right? Because it's something that from observation we try. There are many papers also talking, presenting about this. But it seems that it's not only the impact of climate change alone. There are the impacts as well, right?
Yeah. Okay.
What about in Sri Lanka? I want to listen. How is there? What do you think about this this message?
Hello.
Yes.
In Sri Lanka, last 2 or 3 months before, one ship come with chemicals, and due to the fire, burned and sink in the ocean, Sri Lanka. After that, our government imposed 6-month ban for fishing in that day.
but it's not, is that from fire, right?
Oh, fine. Not climate change.
Not directly climate change, but indirectly probably.
Oh, indirectly.
Right. I
Change.
think, right. Okay. So maybe I continue my slide. So this is the debate actually, whether climate change affect fisheries directly. Yes, in some areas, in the ocean, some area in the ocean, we cannot see much change, and then we still need proof from research to see that the climate change affect fisheries. There are some publications saying that the climate change affect fisheries, but most of them are in the northern part of the world, where such as in the Northeast Atlantic, mackerel have moved northward. They move northward to look for the colder water as the temperature rise in that area. And most of the change and most of the reports about the impact of climate change to fisheries are in the basins, in the lake, like what Director Swan just mentioned earlier. And then many of them are, it's something like, it's not very scientific proven that climate change directly affect fisheries in that particular area. But what exactly affect the fisheries in the basin, in the coastal area or in the ocean is actually from human beings, from anthropogenic impact. It's more serious than climate change. So when we are talking about sustainable fisheries, most of the time we are in fisheries sectors, we are not a little bit, we'll a little bit talk about the impact of climate change directly, but climate change is part of it. But we are talking more on the anthropogenic impact, or impact from people, from human beings, and from fishermen. So this is the message, the first message that I want to talk with you, that the sustainable fisheries that we are talking after this is based mainly on human activities. It's based mainly on human activities, not only climate change. Maybe climate change part of it. So my next slide, the topic, the outline that I'm going to talk is the give you a little bit information about world fisheries and unsustainable, because I believe that most of you are not directly work with fish. I listened to some of your presentation, and some touch fishes, some touch fisheries, but most of you are working with the environment, and the environment issue or water issue. So I give you a short concept of sustainable fisheries. If you get the idea, I believe that you know what is the concept of sustainable fisheries, but I try to remind you again that this is the concept of sustainable fisheries. And the most important thing is, I think that we are going, as I myself, luckily I have my hands-on experience working with community, especially fishermen, to cope with the unsustainable resources in this particular area. One is in the bay area, which is close to the basin, something like that. And another one is coastal area. But the concept that I'm going to give you, like the community crab bank, I'm not sure whether you have heard about the bank, we call the crab bank, and multi-tools that we use to implement in the area called Patani Bay. If you look at the it's this screen. This is the bay that I'm talking about. This is the mud crab, and this is some of the area around here. So this is the topic of my talk, the outline of my talk today. So come to the concept of what is exactly sustainable fisheries. There are many actually there are many definitions of sustainable fisheries. I like I love this after I'm working with them, and I understand that I believe that this is a very good explanation of the concept. Actually, one thing about sustainable fisheries, everybody can say that we need to sustain our resources, and the concept is simple. But the challenge is the implementation. I think that Director Haj or Director Suwana, you also, your friend and you may be working on this. And then we know exactly what we should do. But it's not easy because sometimes in the government sector, we think that, okay, then we just apply a new law, enforcement, but it doesn't work in many areas, especially in Thailand, and I think that in Cambodia as well, in the Philippines as well. So this kind of thing happen all over the world, particularly in Asia, unless in Japan, the country like Japan, the country like Singapore, they can manage well. But in other countries, they are still learning from each other. So the concept of sustainable fishery, I start with there are three main keywords for sustainable fisheries. The first one is sustainable fish stocks. Sustainable fisheries is sustainable fish stock. The second one, that is fish stock, is about the fish resources. But for sustainable fisheries, it's not enough only looking at fish. Come to the second keyword for sustainable fishery is minimizing environmental impact. That is, most of you here are working in this direction too. And the last one, of course, is the effective management. We sustainable fish stock, we are talking about environmental impact and management. So these three keywords are combined to become the concept of sustainable fisheries.
I
Yes.
have one question related to the
Sure.
effective management.
Right,
And
sure.
I also, it's my opinion, you need to build capacity building on
Correct.
the local people.
You are right.
When the local people understand the very important fish that they will be conserved and they will be stopped to stop illegal activity. That is one.
That is correct. I call that is mechanism. So we have concept, we have mechanism, and we have tools. So for sustainable fish stocks, the question is simple: are there enough fish left? That question is very simple, but the difficulty is how to sustain or increase the stocks. And then it comes to the manager that fishing at a level that ensure the population remain productive and healthy. So it's about stock, it's about catch, and it's about to understand life cycle of fish. So this is the sustainable fish stock part. The second part is the minimizing environmental impact. Actually, the main thing that we mostly we know everywhere, I think that all lakes, all coastal area, we know what are the impacts. And then most of the work of people, they are looking for what are the impacts. I give you an example of Thailand later on that we know the impact and we know that we need to sustain our resources. But now we are facing the how to calculate exactly the stock, how to exactly calculate it, so how to collect the data. So now we are going toward this. We try and error for the past couple of years, but now I think it's going quite well. So for the environmental impact, we talk about the impact from the gear, the fishing gear, theft, and impact from habitat, the loss of habitat. So it's about fishing gear, about habitat. For effective management, like Director Suwan said, that we need their community participation. That is, for me, I agree with you, that is the most important and very difficult. So effective management, the question come like operation and measures well managed. And it comply with relevant law, adapt to changing circumstances, law enforcement, and participation. because I give you an example of Thailand as well. We just revise our fisheries law, but this is because of forced by European Union. We want to revise our law, but it's very slow, but we forced by European Union, so we start doing this. So this is the concept of sustainable fisheries. I give you the mechanism. I will share with you the mechanism that I prepare and also the tool. But before going to that part, I have last year and also this year the FAO come out with a theme for. Normally every year FAO will launch the state of world fisheries and aquaculture. But last year, 2020, the FAO come with the theme of sustainability in action. So it means that FAO see very serious problem of unsustainability of utilization of fish resources. And then the FAO come with the message that to ensure food secure future for all, fisheries and aquaculture sector is a key. So FAO try to mention the importance of fisheries and aquaculture. But today we talk more on fisheries and how to sustain the fisheries. I have a clip from the FAO. I will share with you now. Director Suwan, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see. Yeah.
Yes, I share with you is the FAO FAO video clip, only 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Oceans, lakes, and rivers are precious. We are at a turning point for our oceans. The next 10 years represent a critical opportunity to accelerate international efforts and achieve the goal of sustainable fisheries and aquaculture. That's why this year's State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture report is focused on sustainability in action. The report highlights major trends in global fisheries and aquaculture and also scans the horizon for new and emerging strategies to better manage aquatic resources sustainably into the future. The sector is at the core of Sustainable Development Goal 14, which calls for the conservation and sustainable use of the oceans, seas, and marine resources. Progress is being achieved, but challenges remain. While 65.8% of fish stocks are harvested sustainably, the remaining 34.2% are overfished. Fisheries management is therefore more crucial than ever. Totaling 179 million tonnes, fisheries alone reached 96.4 million tonnes, while aquaculture production reached 82.1 million tonnes, or even more if you include aquatic algae. This is good news for the billions of people who rely on fish as a primary source of protein, and the millions who earn their livelihood working in fisheries and aquaculture. Women play an important role in this labour force, especially in the post-harvest sector. Beyond the nutrition and employment benefits, fish has also become one of the most traded commodities in the world in recent decades, with developing countries taking on an increasingly important role in this arena. As such, fisheries and aquaculture have an indispensable function in society that we simply cannot take for granted. The world must work together to ensure that the generations to come can continue to access this vital source of nutrition and employment, especially as the population continues to grow and global production continues to intensify.
Yeah, from FAO, and the key message that FAO tried to deliver is sustainable fisheries. So, what's next? What happened to the world fisheries now? So, from the FAO data, every year, every 2 years, FAO will publish a report. And then in last year, FAO reported that about 32% of the world fisheries are overexploited or depleted. 32% are overexploited, and about 60 over almost 70% are at a sustainable level. And this, of course, it threatens health, economy, and livelihood of communities all over the world, especially not only to fishermen. It's not only threaten fishermen, but it of course it will affect us in the future. So the main cause, what we believe that the main cause of the unsustainable or overexploited or depleted of fish stock is overfishing. The fish over the capacity that nature can produce fish for us. The harmful fishing practices like poison, explosive, electrofishing, like what Director Suwan said. Small missile of the net is about fishing gear. Habitat loss, particularly in the inland water, the habitat loss is very serious. In coastal water, habitat loss is very serious. But in oceanic, of course, it still remains the same. Climate change is part of it, and inadequate conservation and management practices are among the causes that affect the world fisheries today. So there are also other causes of this. I don't like the figure actually, but I want to give you some information in case some of you have never seen this before. Actually, what happened to the world fisheries now? If you look at now I mean that this is from FAO 2020, but the data back 3 years back. You look at the orange color and the red color. This is the capture fishery, the catching. You catch from nature. Actually, the number, the capacity is already maintained since 1990. About that, not much increasing in catching from nature. So meaning that the stock in the nature and the utilization is already met, has already met. And even in some area that reported by FAO, the depletion or overexploitation are happening. Particularly for example, in Southeast Asia, in Thailand in particular, we are facing this problem. And if you look at, this part, the blue color part, the aquaculture, the human beings start to do aquaculture seriously in 1990 as well. When we fish less in nature, why? The demand is very high due to the high population, and also there's a theory that when people are rich enough or have more money, they will eat fish more. So because of development of the world, because of the number of population increase, they start talking about aquaculture. So aquaculture come in about 1990, and now aquaculture production is about half. They're about almost 50-50 between capture in nature and culture in the ponds or in the lake. So looking at the red color here, this is the inland fisheries, the freshwater fisheries. You look at the freshwater fisheries, it's climbing slowly every year. There is still a slot for freshwater fisheries, and Cambodia is one of the countries that produce quite big number of fish from inland fisheries. So this is the trend of the world. So we can see that the capture fisheries are stable. The capture fisheries are stable, but what we need to do is to sustain them. Of course, we cannot. I don't think they can go higher or just some fluctuation. But we have to sustain them. Otherwise, they will be going down. So this is the capture fisheries. You look at the figure. It's remained quite static since 1990. It's a little bit up and down, but it's not much different. And this is the figure for inland fisheries, as most of you here are working with the river basin or inland fisheries we call. So Cambodia is one of the countries that produce, I think number 5, Cambodia, China, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Cambodia are among the country with the highest fish production from freshwater. So we are lucky Director Suwan is here, so he can share with us after this. What about Thailand? As we are talking about Thailand, this is very surprised. No, it's not surprised. Actually, it's very sad that about 10 years, more than half of fish caught by Thai fishermen gone. About 50% gone. Part of it are from less fishing stock in Thailand, and part of it because most of Thai boat they cannot go outside Thailand. I tell you frankly that Director Suwan, some of Thai boat they went to Cambodia and they catch fish in Cambodian water illegally in the past. But after we revise our law, new regulation that boat Thailand boat cannot enter other countries' water because we have there we call the vessel monitoring system for all the boat. All the boat in Thailand they attach the monitoring system where the government, the fishery officer can detect him from the land. Once they get out of Thai waters, they will be punished, and it's very high punishment. So now, because of that, so the catch of Thailand now decreased seriously. On top of that, we ourselves in our water we have less fish now. So this is what happened in the world fisheries. The cost of unsustainable fishing. You look at this overfishing. It's the first keyword. The overfishing means fish over the capacity that nature can provide. Harmful fishing gear. They are using fishing gear that harm to the fish. They're using fishing gear that harmful to the habitat, to the in the coastal area, to the mangrove, to the coral reef, to the sea grasses, to the seaweed area. So that is the habitat for fish. And there's one theory saying that nowadays the fishermen fishing down the food chain. This theory is very interesting, but I don't want to talk more, but just want to tell you that we catch smaller fish. Normally in the past, we catch only big fish that fed on, we call it trophic level, very high trophic level, meaning that we catch predator. We catch predator, the top, not topmost, but the top predator of the habitat. But nowadays, we fish lower and lower trophic level. We fish the smaller and smaller. We fish mostly even fish that still feed on the phytoplankton or zooplankton. So this kind of thing. Of course, illegal fishing. There are a lot of methods of illegal and harmful fishing, like the explosion, like the electricity. This photo is from Tonle Sap.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of
them, right? Yeah. Yes. This is like the symbol of Tonle Sap, and I think that you already see the symbol of the Songkhla Lake, right? We also have this kind of fishing gear in the lake as well. So, but it's very difficult to cope with this. Even in Songkhla Lake, we're still not successful to do this. And this is again everywhere. It's push net. It's push net. They catch everything. Not only catch everything, they also some of the push net, the larger push net, destroy at the bottom the fish habitat. And this is again, I think this is also in Cambodia, right? This trap net.
Yes.
Right, and then this is what happened there. Yeah, this is in Cambodia. When we are talking about the lake and basin fisheries, the Tonle Sap is a good example actually, because it's one of the largest fishing fleet, the inland fishing fleet in the world. And in Songkhla Lake, this is happened also in Songkhla Lake. I think you see this photo already from our talk. But we still have that. You look at all the pole over there, right? So these are illegal. all the pool here, these are illegal. This is a trap. This is a trap using by fishermen. So there are a lot of activities that try to cope with this, but it's still there. And in my area, we call Patani Bay. We have this fishing gear. I'm not sure whether you have this in your area or not. It's very effective fishing gear. They catch everything. We call the the condominium trap. It's illegal, but people use it. It's easy to use, but oh, it's very, very dangerous. It's very dangerous, this gear. So, and of course, there are a lot of other causes like the dam, even the dam, right? I think some of you are working on dam here. And we cannot deny that dam affect fish, of course. But of course, there are the method. There are methods that people try to help the fish too. So these are what happened. I listened to the talk, to the country report of John Paul. John is not here today, right, Nathan? And from his Ta'an Lake, right? From his Ta'an Lake. So Sardinella or something like that. This is also, he has also some problem of this because people are out there, fishermen out there, they need fish for the livelihood, but the government want to preserve fish for the future generation. So this is something that manager has to use all of the capacity to cope with this problem. So I come back to the to this concept. So you see the concept is sustainable fish stock, the minimizing environmental impact, and effective management. Like for the mechanism I will propose, there are mechanisms. For me, there are three main mechanisms that can implement to our concept. The first one is I believe in data. As a scientist, I believe in data. I believe in assessment. And I'm sure that you all believe in data and assessment. And all the place, I think in the world now, they are looking for where is the right data, where is the update data, where is the assessment report. So we need to have this. We need to have this. Even we work in a small area or in the larger area, the data assessment is very important. The second one, data assessment, we need policy, we need law, and we need management as our mechanism. But to implement, to produce law, to establish law is not difficult. To establish policy is not really difficult. But to manage is more difficult. But the third one, like what directors once said, that is the community. That is the community. So that's the mechanism. From the mechanism, so I come out with this slide saying that from that mechanism, we have the tool to work for the sustainability of fish resources. The tool normally the fish people, when they are talking about tools to manage sustainable fisheries, firstly they think about the gear. They think about the fishing gear. I showed you earlier that there are some fishing gear that affect to the fish stock, affect the habitat. So they are talking about the gear. So all the design, some of the design, they will design based on the gear, based on the fishing gear use. The second one, I think that there is the MSY or maximal sustainable use. They are talking about what exactly is the stock there, how much fish we should fish from this water. This is the problem everywhere in Asia, except Japan. Because the question is, once the authority, especially the fishery department, they come out with a calculated stock, saying that like for Thailand, you need to fish not more than 1.5 million metric tons a year, for example. But the fishermen say that no, that is not correct. I don't believe that. So we are in the argument between fisherman side and fishery side, because It's something new for us to calculate fish stock. But I think that the technology in Thailand now, I propose to the government that we need to invest in technology, in people, to look for maximum sustainable yield. Why maximum sustainable yield is very important? To me, it's the most important. Because whatever gear you design, if you don't know exactly how much fish you have to, how much fish you can fish, how much resources, how much stock you can fish from your natural habitat, natural ecosystem, you cannot design the gear, you cannot design the reserve, you cannot do closed season. But you need to know how much. That is very important. I think that in the future, this in Thailand, as I'm working on to propose the policy for the government, for the research, no, sorry, not for the research agency, that what we should do, what we should do about to cope with this problem. I believe that to have a group of people and very how to say, very accurate and up to date calculation of maximum sustainable yield everywhere, so we can come out with something, so we know that how much fish we can eat. Because fish in nature, if you don't catch them, it's useless. If you don't catch them, it's useless. It's the livelihood, it's the career of people. But if you fish it, overfishing is harmful. So we cannot sustain them for the future. So, but the good data is very important. The next one that everywhere in the world are doing now is the reserve area. They confine some area, they introduce some area, become reserve area where no fishing activity allowed. This is something they have been doing in almost everywhere in the world. Another tool that that the government like to use is the closed season. The closed season. Closed season is almost everywhere. I want to know as well for your country after this, do you have any closed season, example of closed season? And for the blue color is the rehabilitation and restoration. The concept of rehabilitation and restoration. Rehabilitation of fish stock, rehabilitation of habitat, restoration of habitat. This is the keyword that I think that all of us are familiar with. And another tool that they are trying to do, I heard that in even in Tonle Sap, they call the alternative livelihood. Alternative livelihood meaning that to reduce fishing pressure, to reduce fishing effort, and helping the fishermen to have income from other sources. And then there are also other tools as well. So this is some of the tools that people around the world are using. For instance, for the policy, for the laws, the main policy is from FAO, International Strategy. International Tragedy, the FAO in 1995 came out with the Code of Conduct for Responsible Fishing, because they believe that if we want to sustain our fish resources, we have to introduce the responsible fisheries to the fishermen and to the government of the countries that having fishermen activities. And a couple of years back, Thailand are facing a big problem caused by the European Union. We call the IUU. I'm not sure how any of you familiar with this term, IUU. IUU stand for illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. This IUU is from the concept of responsible fisheries. The European Union start introduce this and try to force all countries in the world that having fish exported to European Union to utilize this law. Otherwise, if you don't follow the IUU condition, you are giving the yellow card or even the red card. Thailand used to get the yellow card, and now we are a good country for IUU, but we suffer a lot from this as well. So what is the fishing is illegal, like on-road authorization, against conservation and management measure, against national laws. What about unreported? This is what I told you earlier. The data assessment is very important. So IUU use this concept. Fishing is unreported if you don't report what you fish, where you fish, what year you fish. So this report will become the source, the data for calculating maximum sustainable yield for that particular area. And the last one is the unregulated fishing. The unregulated fishing defined as the fishing vessel has no nationality. That means that you need to register all the fishing vessels. You need to register all the fishing vessels. So this happened in Thailand, not only fishing vessels, you need to register the fishing gear you use. And hey, you, the government, you have to control the fishing vessel. You cannot let your fishing vessel going out of your sea, of your exclusive economic zone, we call, beyond your area and enter other countries' water. So this is good actually. But the question is for Thailand is the data. We don't have enough data. But this is mainly emphasis on marine fisheries. But the inland fisheries is not much enforcement now utilizing. I'm not sure about other country, but Thailand is this way. So I think that this is something that I want to tell for the first part. So now I love to listen how important fisheries in your basin, and what do you think about your fisheries, your fish resources? That is sustained or it increase or it's decreased, and what is the main mitigation by the government or by the people? And most importantly, I want to know, how do you have any involvement yourself in this activity to sustain the stock in your country? So this is something that I love to listen from you guys here. So maybe somebody want to start. Maybe Director Suwan, right? I think that Tonle Sap is very interesting area.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, what happened to the fish in your homeland?
Right.
How important fish in your river basin that is like that? I think is the fish in our country, especially in Tonle Sap Lake. The fish in Tonle Sap Lake and in the rainy season and the flood period, they migration from Mekong and from the upstream of the Mekong River and swim to the Tonle Sap Lake for spawning. There is one, because when the Tonle Sap Lake in the rainy season, in the area of the Tonle Sap Lake is so large, and a lot of food, because a lot of food in the flooding forest that will be covered by flood, and so that a lot of food for the fish, and so that the fish migration from different river, different source to go to the Tonle Sap Lake. That this one, and maybe flood around 5 or 6 months. That enough for fish to grow up. That this one, and after 5 or 6 months, the water of the Tonle Sap Lake will be decreased. That this one, and the fish a lot of, because the fish already enough for growing. That this one, and this one is a duration of the harvesting of the fish production, and the government to open the fish catch in that period. A lot of people from different province, different area that to come to the Tonle Sap, around the Tonle Sap, to catch the fish for to make a smoked fish and every product like a family product, like a traditional product, especially prohok. I don't know in English, but smoking fish. We pick for the smoking fish, and sometimes we catch to export to the neighboring country. That this one is very important that the lesa lack in our country degree. And sometimes, and now the population in fish in the lesa may be decreased because a lot of human activity and human activity mean the people that cutting of the flooding forest. That this one is the very important for the fish. That this one, that when they convert the flooding forest to the farm, to the rice farm, to the flooding rice. That this one, that this one, we lost a lot of fish for growing up. That this one, and thing is sometimes from illegal that you saw in the slide, illegal fish catch that use small net that government could not to allow to use the small net. That this one, and sometimes and in the night the people they use electricity. That is very that is very bad for this one. Is condition, but you know in the list up the area of 14,000 cubic 14,000 square kilometers. That's so big. Not enough to control the fish. That is because fish everywhere. Fish, the area so large that so that the government or the fishing government cannot control of this activity. That you know, we promote to public participation from the villager. You know, sometimes we collect the fishing men to forager of this area. To become volunteer, for control for the net of the fish in this one. And the past 10 years ago, the government to divide some part of the lake for the private sector to manage, to control this one. And now the government to release of all the private sector to the public local people to manage. I we can say that it's not a lot of activity in the lesa. Like you know, for the Cambodian people, when you are business, you need to money or capital or budget to business. But for the fishermen, you don't have anything. You have only net and you can catch the fish. And very easy. If you are cultivate rice, you need to let you have land, you have machine, you have seed, everything. But to catch the fish, you have only one electricity or net. You can catch the fish only one boat. Well, you spend a lot more less money for invest in this one. I think that so that the people allow to catch the fish, because fish and fish very expensive in then rice and easy to catch.
Correct.
In our country situation. Thanks.
What about in Samoa? Tomorrow you're here, right?
Hello, sir. Yes.
Yes. Can you share the Samoa from Samoa?
Yeah, no worries. I do apologize as I'm not exactly fully involved within our fisheries, as fisheries is taken over by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries here in Samoa. What I do know from a conservationalist-based perspective is that our division of the environmental conservation, we put special emphasis within our mangrove areas, which is where most of our local fisheries are done from our local communities. From my own personal observation within my lines of work, when I had to work with the Division of Environmental Conservation within mangroves, is that we found more of a pollution problem. It's very, as mangroves to our local communities, especially especially our coastal local communities. It's very, very important for them as a source of, not only a source of income, but a source of living, as we still are sort of a developing country, and it stands as a very important part of our life and our local economy. I'd say there's been a decrease in species and quantity of fish for a lot of local communities to live off. Not so much from the economic standpoint of overfishing, but more the consequences of active pollution. Not only within the coastal communities, but high up where our rivers come through and serve as a runoff area. The dumping of illegal chemicals, to which actually do affect our mangrove areas, to which our largely source or a large source of fisheries are within the local communities. I believe thus far, so to the extent of my knowledge, our main mitigation measures is the implementation of policies to which a lot of our local communities have agreed upon towards the conservation and prevention of pollution. Of materials and illegal chemicals. Yes, again, I do apologize as I'm not too familiar within the fisheries area of environmental conservation.
It's okay. It seems that the keyword is about the same. Now we are facing the same problem of depletion and environment, and the measure that we are coping is the community participation. So what about Sri Lanka? Maybe I listen from Sri Lanka, from the Philippines. Any comment or any response from the Philippines and Sri Lanka or Uzbekistan? Okay, maybe they come later. So I think that we need to take a short coffee break. About how long normally you take a coffee break? 10 minutes?
Yes, 10 minutes.
Yeah. What about 10 minutes? So about 10:30, 10:26 here. Next 10 minutes, I see you again. I have a video clip from Samoa. Okay, 10 minutes. We come back. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Okay. I'm back. So everybody here.
Yes, sir.
Right. If you cannot finish your coffee, you can also drink coffee together. So I have we resume by have two video clips. One is from Tonle Sap and one is from Samoa. It's very interesting. I love to see that and see what people are doing. One from Tonle Sap is from a group of people. They are working to solve the problem of fisheries and fishermen as well. So I will start with the Tonle Sap. After that, we go to Samoa and see what's going on in Samoa on their for sustainable fishery as well. So let me start with the Tonle Sap.
The Tonle Sap Lake is known as the heart of Cambodia.
Okay, you see the screen now, right? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The Tonle Sap is known as the heart of Cambodia, right? It's the heart of Cambodia. So
is known
we go
as
to
the heart of Cambodia. Its floodplain supports one of the world's most productive freshwater fisheries, which more than 10 million people rely on, and provides food, water, and income to the 1 million people who live in its floating villages. However, this freshwater system is suffering great loss and damage from human impacts, including unsustainable fishing, deforestation, increasing forest fires, and the impacts of climate change. Our work on the Tonle Sap is focused on improving livelihoods and food security. One of the main livelihood activities on this lake is fishing and smoked fish production. Conservation International's direct work with local women's groups to set up savings groups has provided income security to women. Because of the sustainable and time-saving techniques that Conservation International introduced, 60% more girls in the project areas are going to school. We are also working to replant and protect flooded forests to increase wildlife habitat and improve fishery productivity. We are directly working with government and the community to prevent illegal and overfishing. By establishing community-managed mini-trust funds, Conservation International has helped community fisheries committees to establish and protect small-scale community fisheries and refuges. Our team have also supported the government to patrol and protect large fisheries conservation areas on the lake from illegal activities and overfishing. Together with partners, we are working to improve people's livelihoods and increase their income through means that put less strain on natural resources of the lake, support community-led financial mechanisms to sustainably manage their natural resources, and expand scientific knowledge about the economic value of the Tonle Sap and the importance of protecting it.
This is the video from Tonle Sap. I have another one from Samoa. This is from Samoa. Okay, now you see the screen, right? Samoa.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, to me, so this is your country.
Yeah, yeah.
In the largest ocean in the world, coastal fisheries resources continue to be threatened in many ways, such as overfishing, pollution, and climate change. This is critical given many Pacific communities who heavily rely on this fishery as their main source of food and income. Pacific leaders have now formally recognized the need for more emphasis on coastal fisheries and have adopted a new song for coastal fisheries. This is echoed at the global level through the adoption of the voluntary guidelines for securing sustainable small-scale fisheries by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. The community-based fisheries management program has been in the Pacific for centuries. In Samoa, Fiji, and Tonga, the program encourages and empowers fishing communities and their traditional roles to effectively manage their fishing areas.
Buhanga he community ko ni akolongani o omie kau toutai kai pehe ke ngahi family ko una no foko ni he ngahi matatahi o whakakau I he komiti ko ni una hanga pure I mo whakalere ko ni SMA.
The program also strengthens collaboration between fishing communities, national fisheries agencies, and other key stakeholders. Over the years, communities under the program have seen major improvements and benefits from managing their own fishing areas.
Ona sai do bara bata tambu na kaisa kalileu I salib talaga na kai raw wa seke mam masa tek salib talaga na kai raw le mbulo bana bubali
malo mo tu esa me ke ni to taka ke ake mai ato tai mo tu pe malo mo elia kono mau tauhi.
Hundreds of communities in Samoa, Fiji, and Tonga are inspired to continue enjoying the community-based fisheries management program. With more emphasis today at the global level towards sustainable, healthy oceans, voices of Pacific fishing communities must continue to be heard. It ensures food and nutrition security, sustainable coastal fisheries, and preserves the unique environment, culture, and livelihoods of our Pacific Island people.
Okay, that is from the two countries. I'm sorry, I cannot find a video from the Philippines that having this kind of activity. There are some, but I couldn't find myself. So the message that both in Cambodia, in Samoa, and also in Thailand, giving to cope with unsustainable fisheries is the community participation. They are not talking about law, but community participation instead. So my next slide, I will show you what we are going to do. As I mentioned earlier, that there are a lot of concepts, there are mechanism, then there are management tools. For the mechanism, there are three parts. One is data. Second is the law and regulation. But the third one is the community participation. That what I'm going to talk after this is their community participation. But I give you a little bit example from Thailand. For Thailand, we actually has the development of laws, fisheries laws in Thailand. We start with we have our own fisheries act. That is in 1947. We used this act for many years. And once we are forced by IUU or by European Union, after we got the yellow card warning from the European Union, we revised our old fisheries law, so become Fisheries Act in 2015. But in the same year, in 2015, sorry, I write here 205, what 2015. Once we revised our law, but the EU said that it's not enough. It's not enough. So Thailand came out with the emergency decree. So now we are using emergency decree for fisheries regulation. To regulate Thai fisheries now, we are using emergency decree. It means that it's very, very serious issue in Thailand. We are forced by the EU to do this. And then, of course, apart from forcing from EU, we also need to do this because we see that it's very important. But sometimes in the eyes of fishermen, they think that it's too much for them. But then for conservation people, they think that we need to do this. We need to manage it. Otherwise, it's not sustainable for the future of Thai fisheries. So this is something that I want to show you that show you earlier that that's the what happened to Thai fisheries after that. So to me, like the two video clip from Cambodia and from Samoa, law and regulation in are not enough. Law and regulation only are not enough. What we need, what we are talking today is the co-management or the community participation. We have to work with fishermen. We have to work with those who are utilizing the fisheries resources. So we call the community participation and co-management. What I'm going to talk for the next hour is about community participation and co-management. From my case study, my own case study that I worked. The first one is we call the tool at community level. I'm not sure whether you see the black color screen or not, but I try to manage it, but it's not successful. But okay, it's community crab bank. And the second case study is the multi-tool using in Patani Bay, the ecosystem approach to manage fish resources in the bay, that where I'm from. So for community bank, for crab bank, I'm not sure any of you have heard about this before. The crab bank or shrimp bank or whatever bank. Director Swan, have you heard about this in Cambodia? The banking system. Anyone here? I want to share about the crab bank system, this concept. I'm not sure whether have you heard this concept before?
No, sir. It's just my first time to hear about it.
Oh, that's good. So this is the concept we call the crab bank in Thailand. It's now very, very famous. I'm running this work in my area too. So what happening to what is the concept of crab bank, and what is the multi-tools? Multi-tool meaning that the tool that I introduced earlier, we take some tool and use in small area called patani play. So let me start with the banking the crab concept. Banking the crab concept, it means that we want the aim is to increase fish stock. The aim is to increase crab stock in the habitat, in the ecosystem. You look at the photo, the left side is the crab. This is the blue swimming crab. I believe there, of course, you have in Cambodia, you have in Samoa, you have this kind of crab in the Philippines. In Thailand, many fishermen rely on this crab. This is the blue swimming crab. In Thailand, the cost of crab is about almost $10 per kg. This crab is quite expensive, and a lot of fishermen use the net to catch the crab. And what happened to the crab in the last 10 years is the less resources, the less stock, and unsustainable. So what we need to rehabilitate the crab. So the government in the past, we already introduced so many laws, like they don't catch the female crab with the eggs or with the buried egg, the egg outside the abdomen of the crab. There is, you look at this photo, there are some buried female crab catch by the fishermen. So it's illegal actually in Thailand. You cannot use the small size net to catch a young crab, but that law are not very successful. But once we introduce the crab bank, you can see some change happening in Thailand on these resources. What we have to do is we have to change 3 changes of fishermen. The first one, we change the heart of people. While doing the crab, we have to change the heart of people. We have to change the head of people. We have to change the attitude, how they think, and we need to change the hand, meaning that we have to provide them the skill, the simple skill of crab bank to them. So this is the crab fisheries. The fishermen use different type of net to catch the crab, and this is some of the gravid female crab also caught from the net. Lot of gravid female crab, you can see the market, even it's illegal, but they are still in the market. So scientifically, we know that this is the life cycle of the crab. This is from scientific part. The life cycle of the crab, from the egg, the hatch become what we call zoo ear, and after that develop to megalopa because they become adult crab. It will take about 5 months. If we take the cycle, take about 5 months, 5 to 6 months. So what we are doing in Thailand, we call the community crab bank. Actually, the concept of community crab bank is not originally from Thailand. It's from Japan. In Hyogo Prefecture, in 1980, there is a people in this area, they start doing the crab bank. There are different species of crab. So the crab bank, the concept of crab bank is, the objective of crab bank is to enhance crab stock. You can catch the crab, but you have to allow the gravid female crab to spawn before selling. The crab with the egg outside abdomen, the crab with the egg outside the body, ready to spawn. Let them spawn first, and you sell the crab. So where to keep this crab? Because normally the crab when you catch is alive. Now even some crab that already died, but just immediately die, you still can take the egg and let them hatch. So this concept is very successful in Japan, and not only this concept not only help to enhance crab stocks, but also once they bring the people together, they bring the fishers together, they're setting up the bank, we call the bank, and people come to donate the crab. people come to talk to each other, another tool like the reserve, like the illegal fishing or whatever, also can be implemented in this crab bank. So there are different model of crab bank. Japanese model like the cooperative, they purchase the crab with the egg outside the body, the mark on the carapace of the crab, and release crab to the sea. So once they release crab to the sea, when fishers catch the marked crab, they return them to the sea again. This is in Japanese model. But from that Japanese model, it developed a lot. So some crab bank, they purchase the crab to crab bank. They purchase the crab to crab bank. Once the crab release the egg, they sell the crab. Some of the crab bank, the fishermen loan the crab to the crab bank. And then once the crab release the egg, so the crab will return to the fisherman. Or some crab bank, they donate the crab, 1 crab or 2 crab per day, or even they donate the egg to the bank for the bank to release. Or their ownership model, even some people, they have, maybe they do have many boats, the 10 crab fishing boats. So they do themselves for their boat. So this kind of model happening here in Thailand now. This is one of the, I think, the most successful story for managing the stock of the crab. So until our Prime Minister, they announced that this must be the government policy to establish the crab banks all over Thailand, in coastal waters all over Thailand. So there are 2 types of crab banks. One is we call the cage bank in the cage. This is the old types. But now we in the university and Department of Fisheries teach fishermen how to hatch the crab in a community hatchery. Hatchery is very simple. So mostly we work in the hatchery where we keep the crab with the we call the gravid crab. The gravid crab meaning that the buried female crab with the egg outside abdomen in the tank or in the bucket. We let the crab releasing the eggs, and then we take the eggs and they hatch to the zoo ear and release back to the nature, to the sea. And then for the crab, we can return to the owner or we sell them. So this is the example of the cage system. They do in the cage. They put crab inside the cage. They put the buried female crab inside the cage. Once the crab spawn, they take crab back. Or this is now the same. We call this the next types of bank. This is the bank. You cannot imagine the bank with those with the smart and handsome coat sitting and count the money. No, it's the bank where the villagers, where the fishers, they put the crab in the bucket like this. Once the crab spawn, they take the crab to sell, or they donate the we call the abdomen of they donate the egg of the crab. Can you imagine one crab is about 1 million eggs? One crab can produce about 1 million eggs. So it's a big amount of crab releasing to nature. So this is how they keep the crab. It's very simple. You need the aeration, you need the salt water, you need a bucket, and you just let the crab stay there. It depends on the stage of the egg. If some stage of the egg, it just remain there for 1 night, but some maybe 2-3 nights without feeding. The crab can survive without feeding. So we set the infrastructure like this, and then let the people doing this. No, it's not about the government sector doing this. This is the community. So this is the fishermen, they are doing themselves. So this is another example of crab bank. This is another, this is quite good bank actually. This is done by the owner. The owner, this owner, these people, he has more than 10 fishing boats. So he operates this himself without funding from outside. He changed his head. What he thinks is that he has to conserve, he has to increase the crab stock because of himself. He can later on come back and catch the crab. Like the director Sowana said that most of the fishermen is easy. Being fisherman is easy. You just have a boat, a small boat. You have electricity, or you have a net. You go to the sea, you go to the lake, you catch the fish. You never plant them like the farmer. You never give them fertilizer for the plant to grow. But in the ocean, in the sea, or in the lake, it's by nature. But now we have to change the fisherman idea, the fisherman head that, hey, come on, we cannot just collect from the nature. So we have to plant, we have to have the nature, we have to culture in nature, and it come back to you as well. So this is so there are many different types of the bank. This is another bank, the small bank. You see the red color, the red colored tanks. This is also the bank. This is from my area where the owner of this crab fishing boat are doing. So this is also the people are doing. They are releasing the crab eggs, and then they take the crab back for selling. And the egg, they let the egg hatch, and then they release the nature. So releasing Zuiya or the baby crab to nature is simple. You can there are different way of releasing. This is the way of releasing. This is the way of releasing. But of course, those who are releasing, not government officer, but the people, the fishermen. So this happening. This is what my project in these provinces. This south of Thailand. I'm running this project as well. So you can see the acceptance, the participation of fishers are very high in this project. So not only to fishermen that we are supposed to educate about this. We need to educate since they are young. The school kid, for instance, what the message we tell them is that you release the baby crab today, it will become your money to go to school tomorrow. In the next 4 months, in the next 5 months, this crab will be caught by your father, and your father can sell the crab, it become money, and for you to go to school. So this kind of message is very important to change people. But of course, changing people is not easy, but it's not difficult. So this is some of the example that crab banks that I myself and with my colleagues we set up in the deep south island. So far I have 11 crab banks in this area. 11 crab banks in this area. So what we are working with fishermen as academy, so we visit them, we tell them, we talk to them, we educate them. And now the banks has been used not only for increasing crab stock, but it become learning center, it become tourism areas for people around this area. So far after 2 years of working, I think that we released about 25,000 crabs already banked in the community. So it's equivalent to about 1,500 crabs per month that we bank. Every week, the villagers in our crab bank, the bank this, and we consider that it's about a billion Zuiya, a billion baby crab released to nature from these 11 crab banks, and about almost 500,000 adult crab can grow up. The survival rate of 0.01 or 0.05%, we can get more crab in the sea. So this crab can back to the fishermen. Not only that, as once we introduce this crab, as I told you earlier, there are another tool as well will follow up. So we working with the fishermen to develop the product from crab. We're using our own university laboratory, our own university factory to do sterilized product from the crab. So we utilize waste from the crab fishery. So it's become biology, circular, and green economy. So crab bank is not just bank crab, but we work for the whole supply chain of crab. We also conduct the use net recycle in the crab bank, or for some bank. So some bank also they do marketing the crab themselves. So these activities are happening in Thailand now. So what is the outcome? Fishermen catch more crabs, significantly catch more crabs, and sustainability of crab stock is happening. You look at this figure, the result of Thailand after we introduce the crab bank. Most of the fish caught in Thai waters, I can say that all species of fish caught in Thai waters decline, except crab. Other species decline, except crab. We also can claim that there are also other tool or regulation that can provide this result, but crab banks is one of it. We believe that crab bank is one of it. Even last year or 2 years ago and last year is different. It's different. The number of crabs that fishermen catch in Thailand, data from Department of Fisheries show that it's increasing. So I can say that this is something that we love to share with our people, our friends all over the world, that the banking system is a tool that's very effective as well. So what we need if you want to set up this kind of concept, it shouldn't be crab, it can be others. I show you later that there is another species also we are doing banking in Thailand. So you need a leadership, you need a strong leadership in the community. This is always the norm for community participation. You need a membership participation. You need a management skill that we in the university provide them, the government officer or NGO provide them. We need small budget and we need supporters. The most importantly, don't let them work alone. They need to work as a network. Like for example, for my work, we work together with 11 communities, 11 crab banks, different types of bank, different types of people. So there are some scientific challenges. I don't want to talk about this. Apart from crab, for the fresh water, I think that this can be introduced in other places as well. I'm not sure whether you have, maybe Director Swan, you have in Cambodia. I think that they should have in Cambodia. If you don't have, but I believe that you have already some. Like the prawn crab, the species that easy to spawn, that when they release the egg and hatch, and you take them back. Fish is a bit difficult, but for crustacean, it's easy. Like in Thailand, we work on lobster, we work on a prawn, the freshwater prawn. So this kind of bank are happening in Thailand. So this is the concept of crab bank. I will stop the concept of crab bank here in case some of us here want to share your experience or want to ask more information about crab bank concept. So I will stop my I will stop my talk for the crab bank before I go to the next one. So any comment, any question for the concept of the bank? Director Swan, are you here?
Yes.
Right. Do you have this kind of concept in Tonle Sap? Introduce.
What
the banking concept.
The bank?
Yes.
I think the fish bank, I think is very important for aquaculture. And if you independent on the natural fish, is every year is decrease. And decrease and each one, and so that the government to promote for aquaculture.
Or not to promote aquaculture, but it's not the bank concept, right? It's aquaculture concept.
Yeah, it's a bank fish bank, I think we need to produce the fish and for aquaculture.
Right.
And yeah, and this one, and some the people they produce the fish for the aquaculture and from different species.
All right.
Yeah. And I think it's for fish for aquaculture and natural fish is better. The people they like natural fish from Tonle Sap is one.
Right.
And yeah, and for aquaculture, I think maybe the people they don't like that this one the big problem that this one because the people always ask is it natural or this is for aquaculture.
Right.
And for the bank fish, I think it's a very important Tonle Sap lake because the for department of the fishery they identify the area that will be produce the fish bank, like fish bank. We conserve the some place, many place that we conserve for the fish bank. That is one.
I think that one is the reserve, right? The reserve concept. I mean, the area they conserve the area for they prohibit all fishing activities, right? So no sound now. Okay, any comment or question from other countries? To me, the fish bank of crab bank concept is quite new for us. It started in Japan, and it's quite new for us, and it's very cheap actually. The cost is very cheap and it's very simple, but we need the participation, very strong participation from community, from fishers.
Okay, maybe the internet is poor connection, but I don't know if it's a big problem with the internet.
Okay. Right.
That this one. But I understand on the training or participant in the meeting on the fish management and sustainable fish management and fish migration. Because in Tonle Sap lake we have a lot of the river,
right? And
sometimes the fish they migration from the Tonle Sap lake to the stream go to up, and when and to the up, and sometimes they move from the up to the down to the lake. We cannot identify what kind of the fish that go up when and go down when, because I don't handle especially on fishery. Right. Yeah, I only understand a little bit about the fish migration, and the fish go up to the upstream by the upstream. Now the government developed many dams on the stream, so that the fish cannot go up. Sometimes fish cannot go up. And the government, when construct the hydropower, they thinking about the fish migration, fish pass. The fish pass fish pass or fish live. Fish pass very important for fish migration. Right. In the fish pass, a lot of people they waiting for the fish up and they catch the fish on the fish pass. That is not that is not good. We can say that this is destroy of the fish. That is one. That sometimes they catch the fish on closing fish catch. In Cambodia we have open catch fish and closed catch fish. Fish. That is one. I think the fish bank we need to it's in my opinion. I need to conduct a lot of bank fish to supply and to supply to the natural lake or natural stream. That is one to increase the population of the fish in the natural resource. I think very important for the fish bank. This one is my opinion, because in Cambodia we have a national fish day.
Right, or National Fish Day, yeah.
Yeah, national. I don't know in English, but call it one we call the National Fish Day. We can the release fish from the fish pen to the natural lake or natural stream. This one many fish that I think that we can increase the population fish or product fish in our country. That this is our condition in Cambodian. Yeah, this one.
Thank you. Nathan, you show your hand. You raise your hand, right?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Please.
Can it be said that the crab bank is the same as like the concept of let's say a fish pen or fish cage?
It's not culture. It's not about culture. But you can use cage. You just put the crab in the cage. Once they release the egg, so you can take the crab to sell.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's more on community participation. Like what Director Swan said, that the releasing of the young fish or juvenile fish or crab to the nature is common. I think that this tool are doing everywhere in our region by the government officer, fisheries department or whatever. But the crab bank concept is the villagers, the fishermen that they're doing themselves. They hatch the crab themselves and they release to nature themselves.
I think for the crab it's only the sea crab. We ask the sea crab.
Yes. For the fresh water is the prawn. I think some prawn and some prawn are possible. Yes. Okay. I go to the next tool I want to share with you. Okay, for the next tool is management and utilization of resources. We call it for the better life of fisher folk in Patani Bay. So the Patani Bay is actually where I'm here now, where my campus, my university is. So if we swim, we can go to Philippines, right? You can see we are in the same latitude.
We are lucky here.
Right? we have a very good sea, and the bay is quite small. The inside of the bay is about only 50 square kilometers, so it's not big, and the water is very shallow. It's semi-enclosed bay, and lots of projects are working under the bay. But the problem of the bay is the wealthy fish catch is over. The wealthy fish catch is over. So my colleague, we have a lot of us working with the fishermen, and including myself. So the fish catch from the bay, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, I did our research and found that about 5,000 tons of fish caught per year from this small bay. So it costs about $9 million US. This is small bay, but it costs about $9 million US. It's not much, but it means something to the fishermen living around the bay. But last year, we did another research. We found that about half of the fish caught gone. So the amount is only 5.5 million. We catch only 2,600 tons from 5,000 tons. So this is the change in our bay. So you can see the figure, you can see the data. When we see this data, we are shocked. And so what happened? Their fishermen, they struggle to survive. They struggle to survive. Some of them, they left the village and went to work in other provinces. Or even some of them, they crossed the border working in Malaysia. And now, what is the cause of problem? We know that, of course, illegal fishing, habitat loss, shallowness of the water. So what we are working now with the fishermen, first, we work together with them to regulate illegal fishing. We work together with fishery department. From the university, work together with those agencies to regulate illegal fishing activity. We rehabilitate the resources we reuse. There are a lot of abundant shrimp pond there. We reuse abundant shrimp pond to reduce the fishing pressure to the bay. And we introduce ecotourism as alternative livelihood. This is the tool we are using here for sustainable fisheries. We want to manage our fish stock. So we work with fisher folk, we work with fishermen, and we work with stakeholders. And we are also doing research as scientists from the university. We are doing research in many types of research. I'm doing research. We enforce the illegal fishing activity. What we are doing, we work together with fishery officers. We work together with fishermen. We warn them, and then we meet all the authorities. And there are some village that are using this kind of gear. There are some village who deny using this gear. So we have to spend our time with the village that using the legal fishing gears. And we try to talk to people using illegal fishing gear. Of course, they are not happy. Of course, they are not happy. But sometimes we need to use law. We have to regulate the law. We have to tell them about the law. And besides that, we need to help them to have the alternative livelihood. And so now, another tool that we are working is because the bay is quite big for us, so we try in a small area, look at the green color area, 2 square kilometers. We work with fishermen here. What we are doing, we make this as a reserve area. We make this as a reserve area. We create new habitat. We believe that fish need habitat. It's not culture green mussel. We don't culture green mussel, but we use green mussel. It's a kind of mussel to be a habitat for other fishes to survive there, to live there. And this is the green mussel. You look at why we use green mussel. We conduct a new habitat for fish. You think about if you work in Tonle Sap, you want to rehabilitate the peat swarm or the tree, the flooding plants. But here, apart from working with mangrove, we need to do this complex or this habitat in the water, in the sea. So we come out with the green mussel. So why we use green mussel? Because it's the complex habitat. Fishes like to live in the complex habitat. And the mussel, the juvenile fish, the juvenile mussel is food for other fishes. And this area, I mean the Patani Bay, we call Patani Bay area, is suitable. And on top of that, we can utilize the mussel later on. It's edible, it has commercial value. And so we use this habitat. We conduct the green mussel reef. We establish the green mussel reef. It's not university, but it's fishermen. They are doing themselves. What they are doing? Okay, we conduct green mussel reef in this area. What's next? We control 100% all destructive fishing. You cannot come in, you cannot enter, but we still allow the selective fishing, the legal fishing, you can come. But for those illegal fishing, you don't come, you cannot come directly because the fishermen it's like ranger, like the director Swana said in the Tonle Sap, the same thing. The fishermen become ranger, they work together with the fisheries officer, and they are there to look after the green mussel and to protect this reserve area. And what happened after that? The fishermen catch more fish inside here. The fishermen catch more fish, even it's only 2 meters squares of the area that we we conduct as the reserve area. But fishermen catch more fish. But on top of that, the income from green mussel, fishermen can collect income from green mussel, and they can distribute among their members. And it becomes a tourist place. It becomes ecotourism spot. The fishermen utilize this. Not they can use fishing, they can collect mussel, but they can use as the ecotourism area. I think this is the concept. This is the effort of fishermen We are doing this. You look, people from all over Thailand and even foreigners come to this area to see the beauty of nature, to see something that fishermen are doing here. And you look at this small wooden bridge that I and my colleague, we provide a budget, small budget to fishermen, and they build this bridge themselves for free. You look at the boat, it used to be a fishing boat in the past. I mean, it's 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it was a fishing boat. Their income rely mainly on fish, rely completely on fish catch. But nowadays, more than 50% of their income are from ecotourism. When people go to see their place, their reserve place, people go and see their mussel, we call mussel reef, and people see the beauty of the nature. And this bay now become ecotourism spot. And a lot of activities that people want to see, a lot of the bay resorts is from 10 years ago, 7 years ago, but now it's more than 25 years here. So they utilize this. But the question still remains how we manage this ecotourism. So the way that people use the bay is totally changed. It's not totally changed, it's gradually changed. They used in the past for catch the fish only, but now there are multiple directions of usage. So, and of course, this kind of reserve, this kind of rehabilitation, and also the releasing of their juvenile fish and crab and shrimp in this bay are now common because of their community participation. So this is the another concept that I'd like to share with you, that what I'm doing here in southern Thailand. Apart from that, there are a lot of reserve or the conservation sites in Thailand. But in my area, this is one of the success story that I'm happy to tell you. So this is the second tool that I want to share with you that I work myself. But the last one is nothing is relevant a little bit to aquaculture. This is a new tool that we try to introduce. We call the integrated multi-trophic aquaculture. Director Sona said about the aquaculture. Talking about aquaculture, of course, aquaculture, we cannot deny aquaculture. For the last 30 years, aquaculture, 40 years ago, aquaculture is nothing. But now aquaculture, the fish from aquaculture is about 50%. It's not 50% yet, but it's about 50% of the world fish that we consume every day. There is the fish, but if we put the seaweeds, we add the seaweeds from aquaculture, the number of aquaculture will be higher than the number of fish that we catch from the nature. So this is the important aquaculture. But of course, aquaculture itself also harm the nature. Aquaculture itself also destroy something. For instance, the nutrients, the water, non-treatment water from aquaculture released to nature. The feed that we give to the fish or shrimp from aquaculture will affect the nature. So now it comes the tool we call the IMTA, or integrated multi-trophic aquaculture. The integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, the concept is, the concept actually is biology, circular, and green aquaculture. Biological aquaculture, circular aquaculture, and green aquaculture. What I mean is that we use waste, we utilize waste from one aquaculture become food for another aquaculture. So it's considered as ecosystem approach. And why we talk about aquaculture? It's sustainable fisheries, but we talk about aquaculture because this is to reduce the fishing pressure in the nature and then to increase the income of fishermen as alternative livelihood. So they will reduce the effort that they catch the fish in nature. So we need to find something for them, some alternative livelihood for them, not depend only on fisheries. So our fisheries can be sustainable. So the concept is simple. The concept for integrated multi-trophic aquaculture is actually the ecosystem-based concept. We are talking about the energy from the sun, the energy from the sun, the nutrient from water, nitrogen, phosphate, and other nutrient from water that plants, that phytoplankton use for photosynthesis. We start from that. And the zooplankton feed on phytoplankton. The small fish feed on zooplankton. The big fish feed on the small fish. The algae use the nutrient that is the waste from fish. So this is the concept. So now they are introducing in one pond or in one area, they are introducing this we call zero waste aquaculture or IMTA. It's zero waste aquaculture. It's less harm to nature. Besides, it will produce a new ecosystem for fish stock in nature as well, either in the pond or in nature. You look at this kind of the concept. The definition is that two or more organisms are farmed together, or a multiple aquatic species from different trophic levels, like fish, mussel, and seaweeds. It's different trophic level. Algae or seaweed is photosynthesis, is primary producer. Fish is predator. Mussel is decomposer. So we use them together in one area. This is the concept definition. I haven't tried yet. I love to try. I think that my future research, my very future research, I will focus on this. I will work on this and see whether it's successful. They are doing this in European countries, but not in our area yet. So this concept, this is you look at this. Once if you have this kind of farm in nature, this area will not be harmful to the fish resources outside the cage. But resources outside the cage will get some food from this aquaculture, this new IMTA aquaculture. So this kind of idea, you see, there is a fish cage, there is a mussel, there is a seaweed, and there is other as well. Maybe there are a sea urchin or whatever, or crab. It depends. So this is a close look, zero waste farming system. We are talking about zero waste farming system. So what I show you what I'm doing in Pattani Bay is we call the mussel reef. This is only the mussel. Maybe we can introduce fish later. We can introduce seaweed later. So it will become the IMTA system. So this is also the concept of IMTA. You look at this. This is in Europe. They are trying to do this with a fish cage, and the mussel and the seaweed. The fish cage, the nutrient or the waste from fish cage will be absorbed by mussel and seaweed. So they can collect seaweed, they can collect mussel, and they can sell seaweed, they can sell mussel, and that area will become the habitat for natural fish as well. Will increase the stock of natural fish there. So this is the concept, the new concept that people are very interested to do. So I come to my conclusion for my lecture, for my class, is that sustainable fisheries, there are three parts that are joining together. One is the concept part. Second is the mechanism part. The third is two parts. They are overlap. Some things are the same, but I try to divide it to look at clearly what are exactly the sustainable fisheries. So for the concept, is talking about sustainable fish stocks. we are talking about sustainable fish stocks. So sustainable fish stocks include how to optimize fish stock or how to increase fish stock. The tool that I give you example is the way how to increase or optimize fish stock that we are doing here. We're talking about the reduce overfishing. We are talking about the life cycle, like Director Suwana said that the pathway, the block of water by the dam is about the life cycle of species. So we need to understand the life cycle of this. Also, it's about sustainable fish stock. So we have to know how many years, how many months that fish can grow up to adult and when we should catch the fish. Minimizing environmental impact. We reduce the impact, we rehabilitated habitat and ecosystem. I give you some example from Thailand, example from Samoa, example from Tolesa, and effective management. Effective management, you need up-to-date data, you need up-to-date law, you need enforcement, you need participation. And of course, effective management mean also alternative livelihood to reduce fishing pressure. That is about the concept. What's next is the mechanism. The most important mechanism is data collection. We need data. We need good data. We need accurate data. We need up-to-date data. We need the real data. With that data, we can plan what's next. We need a good regulation. We need a good law, appropriate law. We need an up-to-date law based on the data. And most importantly, what about 50% of my lecture is on the community participation, how to work with community. The community participation is the most important thing because the water is very wide. The sea is very big. It's very difficult for the only fisheries officer work on that. The community has to play their role, a big role to control or to contribute to sustain fishery resources. And then I come the last one. I give you some tools that we are in fisheries using. The gear tool, the mesh size of the gear, the type of the gear, the method of using the gear. The MSY mean the maximum sustainable use tool. The reserve, we have to close this area. We have to close this habitat. Or the seasonal crossing. So we have to close this area for how many months? Why? Because of the spawning season for the species, something like that. The rehabilitation and restoration are also very important too. Alternative livelihood is another tool. It's a concept and it's a tool. And there are many more others measurement, I think, other tools that we can think about. And what I found now is that the combination, the integration of tools, the integration of mechanism, the integration of concept are very important for the sustainable fish resources. So this is the sustainable fishery that I love to share with you, or at least I guess that at least you get some idea what about sustainable fisheries and what is the concept, what the mechanism, and what is the tool, with some example from my own experience and some of the video clip. Before I end my talk, I have another video clip at the World Bank. The last video clip from the World Bank talking about sustainable fisheries. So it's not from the World Bank, from the World Economic Forum, talking about sustainable fisheries. Can you see the clip now? It's 3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is from the speech in the World Economic Forum.
Imagine a healthy ocean. Imagine a healthy ocean. Its abundance and vitality restored. And not just any ocean. Your ocean. Every corner of every ocean around the world, vibrant, abundant, and productive. Healthy seabeds, fish stocks recovered, monitored wisely, fished sustainably, and feeding many more people than they do now. The good news is that it is possible, but we are standing in our own way. We are paying huge sums of money, public money, to keep damaging and destructive fishing activities afloat. Government subsidies are keeping fishing boats fishing, even when there are too few fish left for fishing to be profitable. These subsidies create tensions between competing fishermen and nations. And they also fund the ongoing destruction of the natural world on which we all depend. But all is not lost. We can turn this around right now. Your governments have been tasked with negotiating new global rules on fisheries subsidies by the end of this year to set us all on a more sustainable course. The World Trade Organization has previously negotiated global rules for government subsidies to industry and farming. Now it's time to put an end to subsidies that harm our oceans too. Around the globe, small-scale projects are already paving a way forward, showing how investment in local coastal communities can lead to remarkable recoveries under the waves. A global deal to end harmful fishery subsidies is the next vital step in the restoration of our oceans to their former abundance and diversity. Reaching the right deal might not be easy, but a sustainable future for the oceans and ourselves is within reach. We must seize this opportunity and act now to ensure a healthier future for each and every one of us forever.
So I end my presentation or my lecture with this slide, this video clip. So what the message? The important message? Act now for us. Act now for us. So I believe that from these 2.5 hours that we are together sharing our experience, will bring something to you. We add something to your existing experience. So now I open the floor for comment and question on sustainable fisheries, please. Dr. Chatcha, will you come back?
Yes, I've been enjoying your lecture from my room.
Okay. You come back after this, right? So I open the
No, I'm not coming back. You go ahead and.
Oh, I see. Okay. I saw Nathan, right? Yes, please, Nathan. You raise your hand.
Yes, sir. I'm just curious. Are there any let's say initiatives or efforts to do, because the program or the initiative you showed us, the IMTA, it's or they're mostly on like on site, like the real, like, you know, the sea or the lakes. But have there been attempts to do a simultaneous concept in an, let's say, in an artificial environment, like maybe like a big aquarium, and, you know, like do that concept and maybe do it simultaneously with the on-site activity?
Yeah, I think right. I think it's possible actually. This is new concept actually. Even in Thailand, we are not really doing this, because I show you, because I love to do this concept, and then I believe that is one thing that is very important. This innovative tool for us to to combine together aquaculture and fisheries. So I think that if you have the area, suitable area, you can try this new concept. I think in the Philippines as well, considered a new concept. We are talking about this a lot in the scientific arena now. Do I respond to what you are curious?
Yes, sir. Because I think it would be better if it's done simultaneously, so it could add more let's say species or fishes.
Right. It's very, I think, very interesting concept. I love to do that, in my area, and hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years, I can show what is going on, and hope that I can get some funding from the government to do this. Right. Any other? Yeah. Thanks. Right. So thank Nathan. Right. So any other question or comment? I haven't heard from our friend Albert. I saw him in and then left already, or Tumai?
Hello, sir.
You're still here, right?
Yes, sir. I have no further comments apart from thank you for your lecture today. I think one of the key factors that I took away was the emphasis on community participation, which I forgot to say in my last input was also a key factor to the preservation of our fishery areas, to which we are in reach of, in specifically our mangrove areas. In addition to that, I believe, as I said, as it has been stated, that community participation is very, very important. As a public servant within the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, it's important to understand that we can only usher in and give communities the opportunity to take over and look after their natural resources, as they are key factors towards the conservation of our natural resources.
Right. I do agree with you. And in the Pacific Island, it's even more important, right? Because you have plenty of resources over there to manage properly, and community is the key success factor for the long run to sustain the resources.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Turalingam, are you here? I love to eat your crab from Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Right. You have a lot of crab in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
So, any question and comment?
In Sri Lanka, we have more technology in agriculture sector, not in fishery section.
I see. Right. So it's something new experience for you, right?
In northeast area, after 30 years board period, fisheries not done in regular basis. After that war also, we have a fight with the Indian fishermen.
Right.
They have more technology and more facilities there. They will come to our border, our area, Sri Lanka sea area, and they take our fish resources.
It's like what Thai fishermen did to Cambodia some years ago.
Now we have some agreement with Indian government and Sri Lankan government about this conflict.
Oh, that's great. I think you can solve this one.
Another section, we have two different communities. Farmers not doing fishing work, fishermen not doing farm works.
Right.
That's why we have like in fisheries.
Right.
Things. In our reservoirs also, inland fishing there. Farmers not doing that one. Different community come to fishing. Then therefore conflict with farmers and that fishermen communities.
Right, there's another issue, right? These are a challenging issue, right?
One time I am the in charge for one reservoir in Maunia in one tank, and that time that the fisher officers come and put their fishing near in our reservoir.
Right.
Finally, that the drought period, that farmers need to water. They pump all water from the reservoir.
Ah, I see.
That time, fishing officer come and meet me, and they can remove their fishing.
Oh, I see.
Without two communities, farm communities and fishing communities, different. Therefore, conflict come.
Right, right.
We give more priority to farmers.
Right.
Therefore, we give approval to farming water to farming.
Right.
Therefore, they can remove. Nowadays, only that fishing communities more involvement for our water resources.
Right.
Therefore, we need this communities management technique also coming years.
Right.
We have farm organizations communities there. And they have more power. Farmers.
Oh, I see. I see.
That fishing communities they have no involvement and they have no power in nowadays. In future, they will come and take more power.
Wow. Right. Okay. Thanks for your sharing your experience, your direct experience. That's great. Aruna, do you have any comment or question you want to share with us? Aruna, maybe the line is not clear. So, Director Swan, maybe you can give us the last word as the most senior.
I think it's in my opinion related to the fish sustainable fish management and development, and the government should be provide some fish load, and fish load is to product the fish bank and to conserve the fish alien fish that that this one to produce the fish. That is one. The first of all, I would like to the government should be allocate or conserve the fish load in the lake like to conserve the fish species. That is one.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So thanks for comment, question, and share your experience. I'm also learning a lot from you because I never know about Samoa, so I have to research Samoa. But Tonle Sap, I know Tonle Sap, but not the detail of Tonle Sap, and found that a lot of the measures, a lot of activities are going on in Tonle Sap. So this, I think that the experience we are sharing today will be more meaningful in the future. Even the times we are meeting is too short, about 3 hours. I hope that in the future we can meet in person somewhere on this planet once the pandemic is gone. And right, I love to visit Tonle Sap and
you know in
Philippines.
In Tonle Sap, like we have the flooding village, flooding house.
Right.
Yeah, and so that they polluted the Tonle Sap water quality, water lake. Yeah, that this one is the government has a policy to remove that this village to the land.
Oh, I see.
Because I will be up. This one will be better. The Tonle Sap condition will be better for the fish. Yeah, this one.
Thanks a lot for your information. So today I think that I will end my class now, and thank you very much for your attention and participation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Take care.